Vocalist Helen Welch is in the studio with us today, ahead of some great performances that she's got coming up. Tomorrow evening, you're doing something really special at Music Box.
Yes, we're bringing back a show that I produced maybe 6 or 7 years ago. The show is called Superstar, and it celebrates the songs and the stories of the Carpenters. It's pretty special because Richard Carpenter gave me permission to do the show.
Nice.
And the reason he did that is because we're not a cheesy tribute band. It's a bit like sort of Beautiful, the Carole King story. So it's the stories, and then we use the songs to weave in between. And I reproduced it again last year and used the band that I always love, and they're world-class musicians, and they're singing all the harmonies, but it's kind of a contemporary 2017 celebration of the music of the Carpenters. But anybody that comes to see it would go out and think they'd heard the Carpenters.
Nice.
So we've still, given it the respect it deserves. And
this is very near and dear to my heart because I've always been a big fan of the Carpenters, and it was a weird time in music because everybody thought, well, it's kind of cheesy because it was a rock era, but it's amazing musicianship and amazing vocals and amazing arrangements.
yeah, I make that exact point. It's great to meet somebody who kind of remembers that, because when the Carpenters went to A&M Records, most of the staff at A&M didn't want the Carpenters, and they tried to talk Herb into letting them go. And as it turns out, the Carpenters were A&M's most successful group of the 1970s, with upward of 100 million album sales. Ironically, it enabled A&M to sign bands like the Police, which they couldn't have afforded to do were it not for the Carpenters. And there's a great story I tell where the managing director of A&M turns to the Police and the other rock bands like the Human League and says, I want you to look at the Carpenters and I want you to thank them for the opportunity they gave you. Isn't that cool? I know that, what everybody calls the cheesy Carpenters, paid for a lot of great bands.
Vocalist and performer Helen Welch joining us in studio today. She's going to be performing Superstar at the Music Box Supper Club tomorrow evening. What time is it?
The show starts at 8 and it's 2 sets with an intermission.
Now, you have a wonderful lilt in your accent. Where are you from? Tell me a little bit about your background.
Can you tell? I usually say to people I'm from West Virginia. I moved here in 2003. I became a citizen in 2009. The Cleveland Indians invited me to sing the national anthem to celebrate my citizenship, which was probably one of the highlights of my career, actually. It was the most incredible thing. So I live about 50 miles south of Cleveland, but I fly all over the country to sing. America's been really good to me.
Wow.
The arts in this area is unbelievable.
Oh, yes.
Just here. I've done Blossom twice with the orchestra and Severance Hall, and
not to jump ahead, but you're going to be at Blue Jazz in a couple weeks as well.
And I love Blue Jazz, and we're going to be there next Saturday night, and it's called A Little Brit Different.
Helen, it's wonderful to meet you face to face, and so glad to have you in to talk about Superstar tomorrow night at Music Box.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.